Hello, welcome, good evening, welcome back to the Talking Reds. This is Thursday night, and tonight is the night we give you the latest and updated news on Liverpool Football Club and what has been going on in the week off the pitch as well. A big story came out this week about Trent Alexander-Arnold and Real Madrid. This is the one that everyone is a bit scared about at the moment. They've got the three contracts on the line right now with Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent Alexander-Arnold is obviously a Scouser, born bred in Liverpool, wants to be captain of Liverpool, but it's still his future is in doubt because of the Real Madrid sniffing around. So it all came from Miguel Delaney early on in the week from the Independent, and he said Trent has not ruled out on staying, but there's a gap between what he expects from the wage that Liverpool are offering and what Liverpool are actually offering. So is it about money with Trent? Is it about success? Is it about his boyhood club? Right now, we do not know fully what is going through his head. We don't know fully what is going on behind the scenes, what is being offered to him, what has been in these talks. Obviously, there should be talks going on with him, Virgil and Salah, really. But we really don't know. We're picking little bits and pieces every now and then from these journalists that are coming out. But is there doubt of his future? We've got to ask. It's an uncomfortable conversation to have about Trent, but is there actual doubt there where we don't see him as a Liverpool shirt next year? And the honest answer is yes, there is big doubt. And that just doesn't come from Real Madrid coming after him, but also what he sees, where he sees Liverpool going. Thankfully, that we've started fantastically this season. Obviously, 11 wins out of 12 in all competitions. Looking good right now. And that's only good for our benefit in terms of getting these contracts sorted. It's going to look good for them three to look, in the future. That slot's bedded in. They should be happy with our slots bedded in. They should be happy with slots where he's playing. We're looking good, and we're looking like we can challenge for titles in the future. However, that's not a guarantee, and that's what needs to be addressed. And I think the ambitions of the club do need questioning at times. And we're going to go on to FSG in the second part of the news tonight as well. But there's a big question mark on where our ambitions lie as a football club. And we've got to be absolutely brutally honest with each other here. Do we do enough off the pitch to ensure that on the pitch we've got enough to go forward? And the answer is no. Not really, not most of the time. And it happened again this summer. We needed a DM, we needed a left back, and we still didn't address these situations. And it could catch up to us in the season if we're really honest with ourselves. But and Trent sees this, Van Dijk will see this, Mohamed Salah will see this. So that'll add just to the doubts of their minds and why they want to stay here. It will honestly add to their minds. People might not want to address that, but that's the truth. It really would add to people's minds. They want success. Van Dijk said, we want a squad of players here. We need rest. It's going to be a long season. And if that's circulating in the mind as well as like they just wanted something new or they wanted more money, it all adds up. And this is where the doubts come from. This is where the humming and ahhing comes from when it comes to contracts and why the contracts aren't being signed. And it's an absolute neglect that it's taken this long to sort these contracts out anyway. People say, well, Klopp threw a spanner in the works. But it should have been done last year before the Klopp even said he was going. So don't give me that bullshit. It should have been done years ago. Or at least a year ago before it even got to the last 6 months. The last year or so. It shouldn't have got this long for them to sort out. If we get to January and then in the last 6 months of the contract and they're now free to talk to other clubs, that's an absolute abomination. And the fact that it's come to this stage already, I think it's an abomination, if I'm honest. But if it gets to that stage, that's just ridiculously bad and neglect at the highest level, if I'm honest. And people like to skate around talking about that. People don't like to criticise the club. But we've got to be absolutely honest and truthful as Liverpool fans here. We've got to be. Because we shouldn't allow them to get to this stage where our best players, our three best players, our scouser in the team is 6 months away, possibly 6 months away from leaving for free. For free. Not for sale, for free. It should never get to this point. And don't start using Jurgen Klopp's spanner. He did throw a spanner in the works. But at the end of the day, this should have been done before that. Before that, it was even a chance to be thrown a spanner in the works. So the reports early on in the year, like a few months ago, were saying, they took the eye off Trent contract. Why the fuck are you taking the eye off the Trent contract? I know we didn't have a proper sporting director. Whose fault's that? Whose fault about a temporary sporting director in? You know what I'm saying? So it's all right skirting around and saying, the club doing no wrong, but it all adds up to the club at some point. It always goes back to the people that's in charge at some point. If the till checkout person is scanning the stuff on the tills and throwing them on the floor, yes, have a go at her for doing that or him for doing that. But who do you take it up with? You take it up with the manager. And if the manager doesn't sort it out, who do you take it up with? The higher one than that. It always adds up to the end person. There's always some, people can be fall guys. Klopp made mistakes. Let's get absolutely clear. Klopp made a few mistakes. Slot will probably make mistakes. And people say, oh, well, Klopp got all this power and stuff like that. But who gave him the power? You can only go so far blaming someone, but when that it always lines to the person that's in charge of it all, if I'm honest. And people don't like talking about it in this fan base. It's funny, but it's just the way it is. Things need addressing. If they need addressing, they need addressing. But regarding Trent Alexander-Arnold, though, do I think he signs and stays? I'm sort of leaning towards it. I think he does, just because it seems like he wants to be captain. He wants to be here for life. It does seem like we have this guy for another few years, definitely, at least. He wants to be captain of the club. I think he will take over Virgil as captain, if I'm honest. But we've got to admit that there's a possibility that he's in a Real Madrid shirt next year, and that's as simple as that. I mean, his friendship with Jude Bellingham, you've seen it all over the news, you see it all over social media, and friendships like that, they mean it. They mean a lot. And a football career is only a small space of their life, a small part of their life. And once they've retired, that's it. They're going to something else, or they might stay in the football industry, but they might go into something else as well. So they've got to look after that career and make sure they get the best out of themselves. And Trent said it himself, whether he's at Liverpool or elsewhere, he wants to get the best. He wants to look back at his career and say, I got the best out of myself, and I did everything I could where I was. And that's every true footballer's sort of ambition and goal in the end of the day, is look back on the career and say, did I do enough? Did I do enough to am I happy with what I did? We go back to Steven Gerrard, and it was a different era. Steven Gerrard was literally that close to joining Chelsea until he U-turned like last second. And we saw people burning shirts of Gerrard outside of Anfield, and it was a weird time. You didn't think Gerrard even think about playing for Chelsea, but he was that close to joining, and he turned. It's the Scouts group in Liverpool, group built down the road from Anfield, and it meant too much to him. And the same could happen to Trent. But I think right now we've got more chance of winning stuff than we did back then. But we're still not pushing enough to win stuff. We're looking good right now in terms of the league. 11 wins out of 12, top of the league, top of the Champions League as well. And it is looking good right now. But when the worst comes to worst, we need to start showing a little bit more ambition off the pitch and giving whether it be Klopp back in the day and now Slot, giving the best tools to go win the league. Those ambitions need to be matched off the pitch, because these players have these ambitions. Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you said, here, Trent, if I was in that boardroom and I said, here, Trent, right, we'll give you this wage, right, okay, forget the wage, we'll give you this wage, but we'll also promise you that we will do all we can to give Slot what he needs to go win these titles. And if that was the promise and that was the go-to, I think Trent would say, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I want to play for my team, but I want to ensure my team is actually challenging for the title every single season. And that's not been the case at Liverpool. We haven't been challenging for the title every single season, but we should have been. We wasted Klopp and we wasted some of the players that we've got. And we should have been challenging for this title every single year. And we didn't. That's the truthfulness of it. We had a couple of years where we just dropped off because of the lack of backing off the pitch. And that's that. And it shows these players. These players want to win. But Trent Alexander-Arnold right now, if he had challenge every year for trophies with Liverpool, a challenge every year for trophies with Real Madrid, he would choose Liverpool. So if he does go to Real Madrid, it's not just about the money. It is about, it's guaranteed to challenge for titles every single season. Guaranteed to challenge for the Champions League every single season, which he should be doing at Liverpool. So it's one of those ones where I'm thinking, do you really begrudge Trent if he does go? At the time, probably people will. Just like Gerrard will go to Chelsea. If Chelsea, the burning the shirts thing, people won't forgive them. They won't forgive him. And McManaman did it. They haven't forgiven him. Owen went to Man United. They haven't forgiven him. I know Owen went to Scouser, but he was new enough, and he came through the academy. So, but if we're really honest with ourselves, after a few years and after his career's finished, after Trent's career's finished, did he make the right decision? That's one down the line where you can look at it again. I'd say if Real Madrid go and win the Champions League next season with Trent, or win the league and challenge every single season since then, and Liverpool keep having these drop-off seasons because we're not ambitious half the pitch, and we don't win as much as Real Madrid at that point, has he done the right thing? As Liverpool fans, we're going to be biased. We're going to say, look, no, our heart's Liverpool, so it means more. As we said before, it means more. But in terms of his career, and taking biased glasses off, he has done the right thing for his career, and he wants to leave a legacy and wants to do better. He can do it at Liverpool. If we had an ambitious ownership, an ambitious boardroom where we give Slot everything he needs to keep going, because Slot's a very talented manager, just as much as Jurgen Klopp is right now. He's done a fucking amazing job, going straight from the bat and winning 11 out of the 12 games. No one else has done that in English division history. So is good enough to do it. It just needs every tool to do it. And Trent and Van Dijk and Salah see exactly what we see. They must do, because it shouldn't need to take Van Dijk to come out to call for signings. It shouldn't need Van Dijk to come out and talk about his contract. It shouldn't need this, but it's happened. That should ring alarm bells already. Van Dijk having to come out and say twice. He's come out and said we need some players in. Twice. He did it last year when we got Gakpo, and he's done it this year. 2 seasons ago. Why does it have to take Van Dijk to come out and say, oh, no one else, no other club does this? You don't see fucking John Stones coming out and saying, well, I come and buy this guy. You don't see, you know what I'm saying? You don't see these players coming out and saying, oh, because they don't need to. These players are elite footballers. They are better than most out there. They're the best in the world. So they should be fighting for trophies every year, and they deserve to be fighting for trophies. Jurgen Klopp deserves more than what he won. He deserves more than what he won. He deserves to be in the conversations with Mourinho, with Pep, even with Fergie. But he's not going to be, because he didn't win enough. That's as simple as that. Some of it's his fault, yeah, but a lot of it's not. And I'm not accepting it that it isn't. You can cover your eyes all you want. That's the truthful, brutal honesty of it all. Jurgen Klopp wasn't backed enough to go win again and again. City cheated. We know City cheat. We know, we've seen it. If they get away with it or whatever, we know they've done something wrong. But that's just part of it. Doesn't mean that something else is wrong, right? City cheating didn't go get us Karius, Elliott and Vandenberg in that summer after winning Champions League. City cheating didn't do that. City cheating didn't go this summer and go get just Chiesa and a goalkeeper that comes in a few years. City cheating didn't do that. I'm hoping we see. I say this. I'm hoping we see a little bit of ambition from FSG, and a little bit of ambition when we come to these contracts as well, and say, look, Trent, this is what you wanted. We'll negotiate it. Don't go ridiculous with money. Don't go like 500 grand a week. It's ridiculous. Even I have limits. But this is what you wanted. But we're also going to promise you that we're going to back Slot. Slot's a talented manager, and he can win this league if he gets properly backed. And there you go. And this is what I think. This is what the players need and the players want. They want reassurances. Just as much as us fans, I think they want reassurances and not waste their career. And it's a bit better for Trent because Trent's Scouser, and it does mean slightly more to Trent because he's born a Liverpool fan, and Van Dijk and Salah probably wasn't. So it might be a little bit easier to negotiate with Trent. But the other two, they need reassurances and give them what they deserve. So moving on from talking about ownership and FSG as well, because another big news story came out earlier on the week, and again Miguel Delaney, the one to deliver it from the Independent. So it was about Saudi and about the Saudi state eyeing up a bigger club apparently, and the rumours are right now that it is Liverpool and Chelsea they're eyeing up. What's everyone's thoughts on this? Obviously, it's a very controversial subject. And people don't like talking about controversial subjects, but on Talking Reds, we're going to talk about controversial subjects. We're going to hit it properly and hit it professionally as well, not just give our opinion on it, but we need to talk about this professionally. Also, there's big rumours in Saudi, and there's big talks about Saudi state being, run incorrectly, and the same with Newcastle ownership and things going on in different countries that we don't necessarily agree with in this country. But we can't throw stones in glass houses. That's how the saying goes. But right now, when we see, I'm going to be absolutely honest here, we see AXA supporting what's going on over in the Middle East right now, and we accept it. Nah. We can't accept that and say we're not going to bring a Saudi state-run ownership in. What moral ground are we taking here? What moral ground are we taking here? You can't double standards. That's hypocrisy at its finest. Absolute finest. The owner I want to, whoever owns our club, I want them to be morally okay. I want them to be doing nothing morally wrong at all. From the most barbaric whatever anyone does, I don't want that to happen. I don't want anyone owning our club doing that. However, I don't also want our owner to own our club that don't care about the football and don't care about the football club itself. Don't start taking moral ground when we accept our ownership right now, who are paying AXA and other the way they get their finances and there's a lot of dodgy stuff that goes on, but people don't like to talk about it. What AXA has done right now in the last few weeks, they've supported what's going on in the Middle East. The unacceptable genocidal thing that's going on in the Middle East right now. What they're doing, what they're supporting, and we have nothing to say about it as a club. We are happy to stand there and say, "Oh, we don't want Saudi state. Look how disgusting they are. Look how this and that." Correct your vision, correct your moral compass, and look at it again. And look in the mirror. Because you can't accept one and not accept the other. I don't want to accept them both. If whoever comes in as a Saudi ownership, if a Saudi ownership came in, I'd be checking them. I'd be saying, hang on a second, what is your past? What is this and that? If they're not clean, you're not going to get a clean billionaire at all. Really, it's very rare. But if they're morally correct and they've not done anything immoral or inhumane, then I'll accept them. As long as they care about the football club as well. They need to care about the football club, and that's what FSG don't do right now. I could sit here and people say, "Oh, you are an FSG, you're an FSG outer," things like that. I could sit here and be honest with you here, and I can accept FSG has done some brilliant things. I don't have an agenda against FSG, because if I did have an agenda against FSG, I won't praise them or clap them for anything that they've done that's good. So that's not an agenda. But I'm being real. I'm breaking it down. I'll call them out for what they've done wrong. I'll praise them for what they've done right. There's no side to that. There's no agenda. There's no agenda of FSG in. There's no agenda of FSG out. But if their wrongdoings is outweighing the right doings, then you're going to swear to FSG out. You want the best for your club, and I want the best of my football club, Liverpool Football Club. I don't care if it makes FSG money or not. Whatever's best for my football club. Do I want 600 million to spend in a transfer window? No, I don't. Do I want unlimited amount of players in the squad? No. Do I want the perfect team? No. What I want is my manager and my football team to have the best chance of winning. Like I've said previously in this video, on the best chance of winning trophies, especially the big ones, where Liverpool should be fighting. You know, people like Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley would not accept standards that FSG have given. If honest, brilliant. They did brilliant getting Jurgen Klopp in. Perfect move. Same with Michael Edwards, getting Michael Edwards in the first time, getting Michael Edwards in and get the football structure underneath. Perfect. Brilliant. And they did save, if we're honest, they did save us from bankruptcy. They bought us off Hicks and Gillette. Are they worse than Hicks and Gillette? No, not worse than Hicks and Gillette. But it doesn't mean that they're good. It doesn't mean the perfect good, the best owners are the good owners. Just because they're not worse than Hicks and Gillette. Andy Carroll's better than Andre Voronin. Does that make him a brilliant striker? Liverpool, Andy Carroll. So he's better than Andre Voronin? No. So, what FSG have done right is getting that football structure. You know, even doing like the training and making sure it's all built up rightly in terms of that. But what they've done wrong is a lot of things. The ticket price is ridiculous. The ticket system's ridiculous. It's all about just making money. You know, that's football now in general, but they're a big part of it. They're pushing for the Super League, again, all about making money. They tried to brand the Liverpool name, all about making money. Everything they've done is money-minded. Just money-minded. And being greedy. It's greed. I don't want that. I think it was up to them. Our league would be an American franchise. It'd be like the NFL, where no one gets relegated, but everyone makes a shitload of money through advertising, through all sorts. We don't want that for football. We don't want that for Liverpool Football Club. That's not what Liverpool Football Club are built on. Whoever buys Liverpool in the future, because FSG isn't going to be the owners forever. At some point, they are going to leave. They're going to cash in, and they've done a brilliant business job. I can clap them for what they've done business wise. They bought 300 million, sell it for like 5-6 billion. Ridiculous businesses, ridiculous business work, ridiculous. And they did save us at that point, but have they done anything right? Absolutely not. And I am leaning towards FSG out because I just don't think they're doing enough. I think they've lost interest. I think they bought us and they had interest in us at first, and I think other things have caught their eye and they're just looking at other things, and I think we're just an asset to them rather than a bit of care. You see it with Wrexham, with Ryan Reynolds and the other one. They care about Rob McElwain. That's it. They care about the club. They care about. You could tell they care about the club. You know, they're backed them financially, but they could tell they give a shit. They want them to get promoted. They want them to go up to Premiership. They want them to go to Premiership. And you're seeing that the way they're supporting them and the way they're backing them. That's what you want. I don't expect John Henry to be at Anfield every single week, but not once every year just to show your face. Or at least just be transparent with the fans, but keep in contact with the fans and stuff. We don't see anything. He shows his face once a year towards the end of the year just to say, I'm still here, and making sure the finances are ticking. That's not enough. Not for a football club. It's not enough. But what is everyone's thoughts on tonight's news? What is everyone's thoughts on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Salah and Van Dijk? Who do you think signs? Who do you think stays? Do you think Trent Alexander is even thinking about Real Madrid, or do you think he's just got his head spun on to Liverpool and is Liverpool born and bred? It's a certain that he's going to stay. And what is your thoughts on Saudi coming in, if Saudi were to buy Liverpool or Qatari buy Liverpool, Qatar consortium could come over and buy us. And if we had that guy from India that was possibly looking to buy us as well. I'm up for new ownership as long as they're morally correct and their eyes are on football. You're going to make money from Liverpool regardless. So if you want to make money, that's absolutely fine. But make sure you're doing enough for us to win on the pitch, and make sure you're doing enough to care about what's going on at the football club as well, because that's all you want as a Liverpool football fan, is just the best memories. And we can enjoy the ride, but also we still want success. But this club's built on success, and we're not spoilt by asking for trophies. We're not really. All we're asking for is challenge for trophies, I think, more than asking for trophies itself. I don't expect to win the league every year and say, oh, it's an absolute disaster because we didn't win the league. I don't expect to win the Champions League every single year because it's a disaster for not winning the Champions League. It's disastrous games. But if we challenge for them and do everything we can to challenge for them, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch too, then there'll be no complaints. I'm telling you now, there'll be no complaints. There'll be no FSG out. There'll be no FSG in. There'll be no even divide in the fan base. I can't stand this divide in the fan base. People need to listen to each other and stop creating narratives, because FSG outers don't want 600 million spent. FSG outers don't want a countless amount of players. FSG outers don't want Man City spend or Man United spend. FSG outers don't want Chelsea's squad depth. FSG outers don't want that. FSG outers just want enough, and that's as simple as. And people don't want to listen to it though. This is what gets me across more than anything. We see it on the overlap with Gary Neville. Gary Neville's called them out a few times, but no one wants to hear. They're like this. No. They don't want to hear it. They can't have an adult conversation about it. People that go for FSG outers online, they don't want to hear it. They're not willing to have a genuine adult conversation about why people are FSG out. There's going to be some, and I'm going to be brutally honest here. There's going to be some online that go too far. FSG out every single day, or FSG can do no right. They're wrong as well. But when you're protecting them for so long, you're just as bad as they are, but just on the other agenda. You're running agendas and narratives just as much as they are by protecting them and by not at least questioning them, or at least having the conversation. Be in the middle. Have the conversation about FSG out or FSG in, and why they've done good and why they've done bad, and then come to a conclusion. But don't insult, because I've been insulted many times just because I'm FSG out or whatever. But I've said, let's have a proper adult conversation. I'll have this over Spaces. I'll have this over YouTube. I'll have a proper adult conversation with anyone about it and why I'm swaying towards FSG out than FSG in. But no one wants it. No one wants it. They'd rather insult and say, you're not a fan. Have you been to Anfield? Have you done this? Have you done that? That's the same thing to Virgil, because Virgil's called it out. Just be careful with how you talk about these things. Don't be a hypocrite. Don't have double standards. Be true and be honest. And be an adult. Because mainly people talking in this space are adults, but they don't come across as adults. There is conversations out there, and if people don't like it, then fair enough. Don't have the conversations. But if anyone wants a conversation, you know where I am anyway. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching tonight. This has been the latest news of Liverpool Football Club, of the weekly news. The biggest news, obviously, Trent and Madrid. That's going to be going on for a while now until thing. And obviously, the Saudi state eyeing up possibly a club, possibly Chelsea or Liverpool. Whether that happens or not, we don't know yet. It'll all come out at some point, and the contracts I'm hoping are getting done before, at least before Christmas, and it's getting closer and closer to Christmas. And the last 6 months is so close now where they can start talking to the clubs for free, and it's ridiculous if that happens. Thank you for joining us tonight, Talking Reds. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, by the way. Make sure you tune in tomorrow because we have a special at 4, I think, was it 4, 4 o'clock tomorrow, live match preview for Arsenal. We have 2 Arsenal fans on. We've got BJ coming on, and we've also got Cecil from AFTV coming on for our match preview for Arsenal. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 4 o'clock on Talking Reds. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn your notification bell on as well. Thank you, guys. Good night, Reds.